morning. Today I woke up at 7 before the alarm, actually, a few minutes before. And I worked until 8:45. It's 9:25 right now. And for the past half an hour, I've been laying here trying to, how do I say this? Trying to get my emotions, my migraine. I have a headache. I woke up with it and it's been going, like this. Kind of was going away, then it came back. But also my stomach is like that, like nauseous. I also got my period. But this week I worked with a bunch of ladies. In fact, I usually don't hang out with so many women at a job, but this week I did. And there were many conversations that came out of it. Just regular conversation, normal. One of the things is, well, actually a bunch of things. One of those was how men have very little understanding of women's needs and how they just get military and completely miss all the things that women do, whether it's in the house or outside of the house. And they're kind of always feeling like they're not doing enough, but they're not doing anything. It's really sad for me because I've really tried to build a lot of awareness around the fact that we live in a society that is working on creating harmony and balance between the sexes, so that we all can have an opportunity, that we all can create opportunity for ourselves, be independent, but also work together, because in reality we all have to work together. Okay, I served myself some food, though I'm having a hard time eating it because I feel nauseous. I kind of lost my train of thought from earlier because I got up. But what I wanted to say is this conversation just made me really sad, like breaking my heart, that we're not putting effort to understand each other, to get each other, to be okay with our differences, but to work as a team. I just feel like women for a very, very long time were just property. They weren't even considered a living being. You are the woman, and well, you're nobody, you're nothing. If there's not a man by your side, a brother, a father, a husband, anything can happen to you. And if you have the wrong brother, father, or husband by your side, who does not have your best interest in mind and sees you just as a thing, then you're probably even worse. Because who's gonna listen to you? Who's gonna help you out? And now I understand why women are so bitter, so upset, angry. Some women are just completely done. They don't give a fuck what happens to a man. They don't care. I've even heard women say, I don't care if something horrible happens to him. And I think it's because it's too painful. It's too painful for you to be treated as property, but the man is like, oh, over there. Oh, we need to do everything for him. It just makes me really sad. That's what I woke up with today. I woke up with this feeling of like people not wanting to understand each other, not wanting to work as a team. It's like we're against each other.
Hey Chupidine, this is Editing Miljana. This is to clarify the point I'm making here. And what a coincidence that I'm overcoming a cold as I'm editing this. There's a pattern here, one that shows up in both research and in real life. Studies show that married men benefit across almost every area of life. They live longer, have lower stress, maintain healthier habits, and they tend to earn 10 to 40% or more. They experience better emotional regulation, stronger social support systems, more stability, and even greater long-term happiness. And a big reason for that is support. Women often take the lead in building social networks, encouraging healthy habits, and creating structure and stability in everyday life. Marriage, for many men, increases responsibility, which often leads to less risky behavior and better overall outcomes and better lifestyle. Now let's look at women. Research showed that married women, especially in low quality or stressful marriages, something a large number of women experience lower overall happiness, higher rates of depression, and even shorter lifespans compared to single women. They are more likely to carry the mental load, the emotional labor, and the majority of household responsibilities, which directly impact their health, energy, and career growth. There's also what's often called the marriage penalty, where women's professional advancement slows because they're expected to take on more at home. And when women earn more than their partners, that can introduce additional stress and instability in the relationship. Women are also more psychologically affected by conflict, meaning unhealthy relationships don't just stay emotional, they become physical, mental, and long term. So, unlike men whose well being mostly improves with marriage, a woman's well being depends heavily on the quality of the relationship. And that's the point. The issue isn't marriage, the issue is the quality of partnership. Women don't need to lower themselves to fit into relationships that drain them. We need supportive, emotionally mature partners, not situations where women are carrying everything while also trying to survive the relationship. And yes, I know we're in April, but building awareness around women's needs is not limited to 1 month. It's everyday work by all of us together.
And then we wonder why we have so many issues. The other conversation that was happening was of how so many men want a woman to look and be a certain way. Oh, she has to be fit. Oh, she's gotta have, like, I don't know, a booty or whatever. Oh, her face has to be a certain way. She has to behave a certain way. Her house has to be in a certain way. It's just, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted just listening to this. And this is reality. This is so true. I have not met a man so far, ever, who did not impose at least one or a few of these things. Yeah, he might be good in one way, but then his idea is like, well, if I do this, she should do that. And how hard is it if I'm doing this for her to do that? There is a human being on the other side, sir. Did you know that? Or, oh wait, you just connected to your needs, but completely forgot of her needs or where she is in her life, and that maybe the way you treat her, expect of her, or the way she was raised, it's not the way she lives her life, even if she might actually want to incorporate some of the things that you're saying. She needs time to get there, and she needs to do it her own way, not for you. Who the hell are you to do it for you? No, she's gonna do it for herself. It's just really sad. It's actually making me more nauseous to think about these things. But I want to talk about them now because they're present rather than leave it for later. I just feel like sometimes I just spend time and think about how can we coexist together, live together, create together, because the truth is we do need each other. And I'm just constantly met with this resistance, with so much resistance. From both sides, but I would say mainly for men, because for them, things are supposed to be one way. And if things are not one way, then I don't know where their mind goes. Where the hell does your mind go, man? I'm serious. If things don't fall within the box that you created, then all of a sudden it's wrong, irrational, and that's not how the world works. We are all built of energy. Energy. Yeah. I find this conversation to be so complex because there's so many moving parts, and though we all have something different about ourselves, in reality we have all the same foundation of what's needed, the love, the respect, the opportunities, the community, someone to understand us, to work with us. Oh, my migraine is just getting worse. Probably gonna take some pill, but my request is, let's just work together. Let's build understanding, opportunities for all of us, for all of us, even the people that don't identify as male or female. There's parts of that are very much rooted in one or the other, because we all have the yin and the yang. If any of you have any ideas on how I can build this conversation further so that we are working together, I would love to get some tips. What is your opinion? Do you feel like there is so much misunderstanding between the sexes? And I don't know, because I know we have a different perspective on life. Women tend to think more outside of the box, I would say, for the most part, because when you as a woman, start a family and take care of a family, the things that I think about are not the same things my husband thinks about. For him, it's mainly like the tangible stuff, like the money that comes in, how does the house look, what do we have? And for me, those things, plus other stuff, are, how is our health, how are we gonna sleep, the comfort of our home. We need to get from point A to point B. How are we gonna get there? But like all the little details as well, not just, oh, we gotta take this route and we might need some food in a car and some clothes and that's it. There's like things that I think about that I feel like to an average man is it's just not a thought that crosses their mind, because like they think that women, they're worried about things, those things don't make sense, and that is not true. That is not true. If a woman was worrying about things that don't make sense, most of us would have never made it alive. We would have not made it to the age that we are at, because some woman, whether it's our mother or some other woman that took care of us, she had to be there and think about the things that we couldn't think about. And I think that's really what happens too with women and men. And when they get married, they have to think outside of the box consistently. And I know a lot of men would be like, stop worrying, or leave me alone, or I don't need that. Most of the time, the woman ends up being correct. Those things that she thought that her partner needed were actually needed. They made a difference, whether how their day went by, whether it's how they felt or they thought. And I think this is also why we find ourselves
hearing these stories of businessmen or politicians or pretty much anyone in any industry, of a man who has something. There's this saying in the background, she's the wife, but she secretly runs it. I think that we failed to give credit to women, a lot of credit. You know, we see the men go to work and make the money. Well, nowadays that has changed a lot, but still, I think in a lot of homes, men are the primary providers, or they make more money. They get paid more than women do, and they get promotions a lot faster and everything. One thing that I'm gonna say about that is, if you have a woman by your side who takes care of you, you actually move up the ladder so much faster. And you might even end up having a really good job. Even though you got that job, she's the one who said, don't go to the shitty job. Go find yourself a better job. And what do? You go and you search for a job. You find it. Otherwise, you'll probably end up working where you worked before for a long time. And I'm talking about real examples here. I know people who have been through this. This is like a really good example of how the man provides, gets a nice job or a better job, but in the background, the person who helped him get there was the wife, and said, hey, come on, you're worth more than that. You deserve more than that. You can go and do it. And I'm not going to say that there's no men who do that with their wives. I'm 100% sure there are plenty of men who do that as well. And I've known men who do that. But I think for a man to do that in our society, it's something that is normal, right? We give the credit to the man right away. For example, if a woman has a career and she's married, oh, she's a really good husband, right? Because she's able to do all those things. And we never ever think about, if a man has a good job, that there's a woman behind him and, oh my God, he has that really good job. I mean, he must also have a really good support. No, we don't think about that for the man. We always, however, say, okay, she's doing all those things. Wow, her husband must be supporting her a lot. And though I'm sure there's truth to that, I think for a woman to actually go after their careers, it's so much more difficult. And I'm speaking from personal experience. When we want to pursue a career, there's always a resistance from family, friends, partners. It's kind of like a threat to them if you choose to work on yourself and build a career. And it's interesting because those things are not always like direct. And what I mean by that is, starting a career myself and wanting to go to school, okay, there wasn't too much resistance. Okay, yeah, go to school, get educated, go. The resistance came in when I said I want to find a good job, or I want to create my own business or career. That was something for my family that was, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I have to say, specifically for my father, sorry Dad, I know you're gonna watch this video, but his idea was like, no, I have a business. You go work with me. I'll give you the money. You do the, I don't know. And there was very or none of understanding that I have to develop myself as a person. His idea was like, no, I'm gonna marry somebody with money, or if not, I'll marry somebody who's gonna work with him and I'm taken care of. Hey, that's all I need. What else do you need? Nothing else. We'll give you some money. And I was like, what? Tomorrow you die, or my husband turns into a fucking asshole, and where do I end up? No, I'm building my own career. I have no idea where and how and who am I gonna be, but I'm going to do it.
And here I am, doing just that. Though I have to say, for me, has been, I don't know how many times, 10 times harder than I know if my brother wanted to do this. There's just a very different support for women. It's kind of like we want to give them a little bit of something, but we don't want to give them too much. Let's not give them the full independence. Let's just give them a little bit of independence and expect them to be happy with that. I mean, what else could you need? You have a home, you have clothes on your back, we'll give you some money, and how about you just go, get cooking or cleaning the house or whatever we need, as men. And being in that environment and then stepping out of that environment, technically you never really step out of it. No, I'm in a very different place in my life, my business has made some money. The resistance that I still meet people in my life, the resistance that they bring to what I'm creating, it like really breaks my heart sometimes. It makes me really sad. And then when I have conversations with other women, and I know sometimes I think men think that women just want to talk about these things. No, they just come up in a conversation, if you're married, like a girl can just share about, the kids or something, and the husband comes up or shows up because, well, he wakes them up military every single day and they're out the door by a certain time, but the kids end up being like grumpy and super unhappy because the husband doesn't really connect to their emotions and their like needs. He just has them be up, get whatever they need to get done, and that's it. And the other needs are left out. Of course, those are necessary, and I think it's great to have the discipline. This is the reason why I do believe that we are meant to live in harmony with each other. But for centuries, we have only lived the man way. Discipline. This is it. This is the route. Do it like that, and that's it. And now things are changing. We need to incorporate in the feminism. We need to create jobs that are made for women, because pretty much all the jobs that we have out there, yes, now there's jobs that are being created, like being able to work from home. So you can actually be with your kids, even though you probably won't be with them the whole day because you have to focus on work. You being there makes a huge difference. Or like being able to work part-time instead of a full-time job. This is something that is still really hard to do. Yes, there's more opportunities. Why? Because this world was made just for men. If you cannot do full-time, they don't want you. Who said that a person who's there full-time does a better job than somebody part-time? There's actually no proof of that. In fact, there is opposite proof. People who work 3 days weeks or 4 days weeks actually accomplish the same or even more than people who do a 5-day week or a 6-day week. And I know in some countries you work 6 days, but then they have a lot of holidays, so a lot of days off randomly. Having these difficult conversations with our partners, with our friends, with our family are very important, because this is the only way to create opportunity for all. And as a society, when we're better educated, when we work as a team, we actually accomplish more, and we are all more fulfilled, happier, healthier too. Health is very much connected to our lifestyles and our place and role in society. This is the message that I want to leave you with today. Let's have difficult conversations with open minds. I'm not saying that you're not going to resist. We all resist at the beginning, but I think if we resist with an open mind and with a willingness to create awareness and to understand first ourselves. Like, why do I resist this? Why am I against it? Why do I feel like I'm losing? Like, where is the fear coming from? Usually it's fear, you're gonna lose something. But truly, we don't lose anything. We just gain most of the time. Most of the time, we just gain. So, because we gain by working with others, the focus should be there. Should be on creating and building that relationship and creating an environment, a society that is both working for men and for women. That is definitely possible. Not that there won't be any challenges. Challenges never go away, but the challenges will be different. I think there won't be so much tension and hate, to say it the other way, because I think some women are just angry, upset, and hateful and resentful towards men for all the things they had to go through. And in their own right, they have the right for it. But men are becoming like defensive, and that doesn't get us anywhere. We all have our needs, and I believe that in a society where our needs can all be met is possible. It's very much possible. So let's create it together.